got some good news, man. It's about time we had some good news to talk about. I feel like we haven't had any good news to discuss in quite some time. Now, for the most part, I feel like everybody from this channel should be more than familiar with Nick Branya. Nick Branya, along with some of his colleagues, started the movement for People's Party. Now, I've said, honestly, it's probably my favorite party. Because not only after talking to Nick do I have a better understanding of what their goals are, but their goals are very much so in line with what we need to ensure third parties become viable at the federal level in the future. By introducing ballot initiatives, they have pretty solid game plans. They also make sure to look at history to figure out what's prevented third parties from achieving viability. Also, they've been doing something that I would like to see the Green Party do more, which is they've been building bridges. They don't say if you've ever been a Democrat or if you've been a Democrat, or even if you are still a Democrat. They don't say because of that label beside your name, we're not going to talk to you. They don't say this to Republicans either. They don't say this to libertarians either. They say, do you believe healthcare is a right? Check. Do you believe climate change is necessary to address now rather than in the future? Check. Environment? Check. Big money out of politics? Check. And address the military industrial complex? Check. As long as you check most of those blocks, Move Forward People's Party has been willing to work with you. And that's a great quality to have. Now, this adamant need to kind of coalesce with people and this understanding of why it's necessary to do so has led to something that is pretty massive, if you ask me. This is according to the Moving Forward People Party's Twitter. Breaking: Our Revolution LA votes to join the movement for a People's Party. We're calling on all fellow Our Revolution chapters and progressive groups to join us in building a new People's Party. They are co-hosting a national call this Thursday. That is massive. That's massive. Now, I don't want to get into all the nitty gritty of how Our Revolution works and all that good stuff, but I'll put it like this. For Our Revolution's faults, while it was under Nina Turner, Our Revolution had a lot of damn success. They were more successful than just Democrats. There's a reason for that. Our Revolution LA has even had its issues. However, now that they fall under the Move Forward People's Party, you're probably going to see more independence in that circle than you had seen before. All of a sudden, the biggest quote unquote pro Bernie progressive organization in California is now going to be using their efforts to get the most populist progressive elected rather than the most populist progressive Democrat elected. So now you don't have to choose whether or not you're fighting for the one who you think is more viable or the one who is the best candidate. Now you're fighting for the best candidate, and you are restructuring the system using the apparatus and the momentum that the Moving Forward People Party has started to make sure that these strong, principled candidates actually begin to become viable and hopefully begin to win elections. Now, all of a sudden, Our Revolution isn't as only focused on candidates themselves, but they can be unapologetic in addressing election integrity. That's a big part of Moving Forward People's Party's platform. They don't have to ignore it because that's what Bernie does, if I'm being honest. They don't have to ignore it because that's what the Democrats do, because the Democrats have always historically ignored election integrity issues unless it's coming from the side of Republicans. Now they understand that if they want third party candidates to become successful, if they want MPP candidates, Moving Forward People Party candidates, to become successful, they have no choice but to address the election integrity issues that are running rampant in LA County, in California, and in general. Now, I can't remember, but I feel like Our Revolution is one of the top 3 chapters as far as membership and activity is concerned in the country for Our Revolution. And so them calling on the other Our Revolutions across the country to join in is massive. I don't know how many chapters will join. I really don't. I know our revolution itself is probably going to go under some type of neoliberal overhaul, similar to what the Justice Democrats have done. But the chapters themselves have free reign to do what they want to do. And if enough chapters end up under the Moving Forward People Party, then the Our Revolution National Chapter will have to kind of see the writing on the wall. This is clearly a trend in the right direction, because it's a trend away from partisan politics. It's a trend away from hero worshiping, right? It's a trend away from deifying. It's a trend towards movement-based policies or policy-based movements, rather than personality politics, which is what we've seen generally from a lot of these major organizations who claim they want to see things like single-payer healthcare, who claim they want to see things like end to the regime change wars, that they want to see the environment taken care of, that they want to see federal jobs guaranteeing UBI, but they won't pass the policies and have the conversations that you need to ensure that we have the candidates in power to make these changes, and to make sure that those candidates in power have their voices heard. Because what happens is, when you fall for personality politics, the voices who are doing good work oftentimes fall to the wayside because they're not getting the coverage that they deserve. They're just not. We're seeing people fight for or talk about UBI, or at least the media, right? Talk about UBI now. Congress people talking about UBI now. But if we would have if we would have been talking about Tulsi's UBI on March 12th, then a lot more people would be just positioning that with what happened with the first bailout. Like, hold up. So y'all had legislation right here to make sure we got paid first, and you actually purposely ignored it and then elevated these other nonsensical pieces of legislation instead. So when you lose control of the conversation, you lose control of the narrative. When you lose control of the narrative, you lose the policy battle every single time. That's how the United States works. That's why I bring up what people did, and when, not only what they did, what they introduced, but when they did it and how they did it. Those other factors are just as important, because context matters. And when you have our revolution seeing work like this in the future, at least the LA County version, hopefully they're going to be like, wow, now we can talk about the Securing America's Elections Act, because election integrity is an issue. Now we can talk about the Off Fossil Fuels Act. Now we can actually endorse reparations instead of ignoring reparations because Bernie ignored it. Maybe now we can endorse UBI instead of ignoring UBI because Bernie didn't support it at the time. You get what I'm saying? It just allows them to have much more free reign, and it's great overall for the conversation. Happy to have them on board. It's awesome. If you like that segment of Mikasa Sukasa, don't forget to like the video and smash that subscribe button. Want access to members only live streams, behind the scenes footage, and other premium content? Well, you can endorse us on Rockman Premium, become a patron through Patreon, or you can sign up for the MCSC Premium membership through YouTube. All the links are in the description below. But hey, more than anything else, always remember,
find your balance.
Find your balance.
Find your balance.
Find your balance. Find your balance.
Find your balance. Find your balance.
Always remember, more than anything else, find your balance.
peace.